Welcome to Millionaires Magazine live TV show. My name is Robin Gifters and I'm the publisher of Millionaires Magazine and your co-host for today. I am joined by our esteemed editor-in-chief, Amanda Jane Clarkson.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. Before we jump into today's show, we have so much here ready for you. We are going to unpack gold. Ensure you have a journal, a pen, a nice cup of tea or bubbles depending on where you are in the world, because I promise you will walk away with immense value.
Absolutely. Now, before we jump into all the wisdom that we're going to share with you today, we are going to unpack the pages of the magazine. Yes. We're going to dive in and get all the diamonds out of the magazine and all the things that can help you on your entrepreneurial journey. The one thing I want to talk about with Amanda first is what this is all about. Some of you probably don't know that there's actually a bigger movement behind all of this. It's not just about a magazine. So Amanda, the movement was around before the magazine had come to fruition. So let's talk about that.
It's a great question. The vision behind the Millionaires movement is pure and simple. It is to turn entrepreneurial women into a millionairess from the inside out. I know for a fact that we are all millionaires or millionairesses on the inside, depending on what's meaningful and important in our own life. However, as an entrepreneur, there are millions of women across the globe who want the money in the bank. They want financial independence, financial success in business, so that they can have a life by design, not a life of desperation or stress. And based on my own entrepreneurial journey, I remember growing up, my driving force was freedom. You may relate to this and put a love heart in if you do that. I just wanted a life where I had choice, freedom to do what I wanted, and to live life on my own terms. But as a child growing up, I was getting pulled into different directions. There was conformity. There were my parents who wanted me to settle down and get married and have a bunch of children, which really wasn't on my agenda at the time. And school teachers wanted me to do something different. And I knew in my heart that it just wasn't my journey. And so from that journey, I went on to have 33 different businesses, which I didn't love any of them. I'll be truthful, I didn't love any of my jobs. Not 33 businesses, in fact. What am I saying? 33 jobs, many different businesses. But as an entrepreneur, and it doesn't matter your age, your background, or your education, as an entrepreneur, the biggest thing I had to overcome was my own fear, my own self-doubt. And, this is the conversation that we want to have with entrepreneurial women, is about you at the end of the day, because until we learn to conquer the fears, the self-doubt that we all go through on this journey, not only in business and becoming financially free, but in life, then we'll never get there. And so to cut a long story short, and you'll get to know more of our story, the magazine. Well, how do we impact women all over the globe? And my vision was to bring, world-leading entrepreneurial women all around the globe to a stage together, where these women can impart their knowledge, their wisdom. And so to do that, my gorgeous friend here, Robin, who we co-created the Millionaires Magazine, and that is kind of like our doorway to be able to help women like yourself watching this, to help you pretty much fast track your whole journey.
And I think there's some points Amanda made there that I'd like to hone in on, if that's okay with you, Amanda.
Absolutely.
So, you've owned so many businesses. I know Amanda's owned 14 different businesses. Now, amongst that comes highs and lows. Whether you started the business, whether you've been in business for a while, there's so many highs and lows on the journey to owning a business. And you have literally been in the trenches and you've crumbled at times. So why is this movement? So for the people out there going, yep, that's me. I've crumbled. I'm, in a ditch. I feel like I can't do this. Nobody's got my back. I mean, I actually want to, slow down a little bit because there's so much I want to get out of my mouth. There's actually a story you told me this morning about, and it actually brought a tear to both our eyes as you were telling me. You talked about a person that you were actually helping to mentor through their business journey. And can you share that story with us?
It kind of reminds me of my story and so many women that I get the privilege of having conversations with. As a mentor, one of the things that I was asking this particular lady to do was just to write down 10 things that she loved about herself. And I remember getting a text message. I was actually traveling This is going to bring
we
a
said
tear.
have
Here
the
we go.
tissues ready. Get those tissues ready, everyone.
At the time, I was traveling in Europe, and I got a text message from this beautiful young entrepreneurial woman, and she said, Amanda, I'm struggling just to write down 4 things that I love about myself. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I could write down 100 things that I love about this entrepreneurial woman. I saw so much in her. And the message that I want to share with you, if you're ever feeling like that, you can't see the sunshine for the clouds, that sometimes it's okay to lean in on other people's beliefs. And I just said, you know, there is so much greatness, and this is the thing that I had to struggle through. I literally wasted 10 years of my life trying to figure this out myself. And if I was looking back now, I would say, you know, ask for help. Overcome your fears and doubts, because that is the #1 key to success.
Absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit more about where Amanda did ask for help and what evolved out of that a little bit later, because there's actually a story I want to share there. But it is very, you know, it is important that we have people on our journey with us, that we have people riding beside us to help us with our journey. You know, we've got women from all over the globe watching us today, whether they're from whatever part of the world you're in. It is lonely. It doesn't matter how many people you have around you. Some of us don't have a support crew that can help us on the journey. We sit at our home in our computers and we're struggling to think about what to do next in our business, which step to take, and it's really lonely. And I think that's why it was so important for Amanda to bring this movement to life, and why the magazine has allowed us the voice to be able to share stories with you from women all over the globe, and to dive into Amanda's goal that she's got to share with you, so that on the journey you don't feel alone. So I'm going to do a little bit of an infomercial now to remind you to subscribe to our magazine, because we want to be by your side. We want to be there on the journey with you, to inspire you, to educate you, and to share wisdom. So head to millionairesmagazine.com, where you can subscribe for free for 12 months. And the advantage of that for our beautiful millionairesses that subscribe is that you'll be the first to get every issue. And honestly, I'm so excited not only about issue 1, but the amount of amazing, phenomenal women that we have got stories to share with you, and that Amanda's been having conversations with, and the two, you know, together they are just educating us and delivering such magic. So that's my little infomercial, but please go ahead and subscribe. Amanda, the journey as an entrepreneur, as you said, is lonely. And it can be quite, you know, or as I said, is quite lonely. And it's a journey that we all have highs and lows on. But at the end game, what did you want out of your journey? What was the biggest goal for you on your entrepreneurial journey? You know, what the mission that you're creating? What do you want for women out there?
You know, this whole thing is about, you know, elevating you, elevating self-worth. I had such low self-worth. And the end game for me at that time, I just wanted freedom. I wanted choice. And I remember as a kid, I wanted to have enough money so that I didn't go through the rest of my life feeling sick and worried about money. I mean, some of you may relate to me. Have you ever gone to bed with a stomach ache, worrying about money? And I used to lay in bed at night thinking, oh my God, there's more bills coming in. I don't have enough money. I don't feel successful. Nobody thinks I'm going to be intelligent enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not this, I'm not that, or the other. And all these fears and doubts was so overwhelming for me that I couldn't get forward on my journey.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the burning desire that I had within me never burned out. The flame never flickered out. It was always that driving force for freedom. Now, I don't know where you're from. I don't know your background, but why not pop a comment in? We want to get to know you. We want to get to know what is holding you back. What are your fears? Because you're not alone. We all go through them, and not many people will talk about this.
No, that's right.
You'll see many people talking about, here's what you need to do to become successful.
Yeah, well, here's a Facebook ad. Go and put this Facebook ad and everything will be all right. But at the end of the day, it's so much more than that. And this journey that we're doing to create these businesses, it's legacy, it's about family, it's about, and Amanda has quoted many times in her podcast as building a financial wall. Explain what that means.
I am so big on that, because at the end of the day, I believe underlying every entrepreneurial woman and guy, that underlying the business, we don't want a business. It's not that we fall in love with the business. You know, I have this thing about falling in love with the people that we serve, creating a heart-filled business that is soul fulfilling. At the end of the day, that is what creates wealth. First of all, wealth from within, and then wealth in the bank. And so when I talk about building this financial wall around you and your family, because I truly believe you deserve it, and I truly believe it's our duty to serve other people. And so the financial wall is when you learn how to progressively change your thinking, learn how to build a heart-filled business that you get gorgeously paid for, and you are impacting lives all over the world through your business and through your service, whether it's a product or a service, it doesn't matter. But then as the money comes in, learning to not only hold the money, but then how to invest the money so that in time you become its servant. I mean, you become its master.
Yeah, that's
there you
right.
go. That is the first blooper on the live show. You want to become the master, not the servant.
And don't you worry, I can tell you from personal experience that Amanda definitely is the master of her money. So there's no question about that.
Crack the whip.
There's one thing that has come up a little bit, and we're obviously monitoring Facebook and seeing the comments. And there's, people are questioning, what do we mean by Millionairess, and what is Millionairess? It's what do we mean by that? And I think, Amanda, I'd really love you to explain that this movement and this message and the magazine is about a millionairess from the inside out. You touched on it before, but it's from the inside out. And Amanda, behind her head, has got a poster that says it's self-worth equals net worth equals life worth. So can you help us understand what really is this inside out message that we're trying to get across?
I certainly will jump into that. And before I do, if you're enjoying this, if you feel like you're getting a little bit of value, if you can relate to any of what we're saying here, send us a love heart, send us a question. This is not about us, this is about you and us helping you shave years off your own entrepreneurial journey. So what is a millionairess from the inside out? As I did say before, we are already wealthy within, and that may show up in the way that we spend time with our friends, take care of our health and beauty, take care of our children, raise a beautiful family. We are all different, and we're all driven by our own values. What is important to us? And when people say, I don't understand what values mean, just look at your calendar, look at how you fill your time and your space and your day. They are the things that are important for you. However, when it comes to money, becoming a millionaire from the inside out, it takes a different trajectory. We've got to go, well, okay, I feel like I'm a millionairess within, but if I want the money in the bank, I want to build that financial wall around my family. I want to build a successful business. Because Robin, the stats don't lie.
No.
50% of entrepreneurs who start out go broke in the first 2 years. 90% fail before they hit year 10. But even worse than that, less than 1% of people ever become financially independent. And that is so unfortunate. And then this is the one that really got me, and I think this was another driving force behind why I wanted to do this show with you, is that, do you know that less than 30% of people are authentically happy in their life? And that's just so unfortunate, because
and really, really sad.
There's no need for it. And it's just go, well, okay, I want to be authentically happy. That is me, but it used to be me going along this journey thinking, is there something wrong with me? I keep failing. Out of 14 businesses, I've had 8 perceived failures.
We'll talk more about failures
later. Going to get into that. How long have you got, darling? How long have you got? However, just to finish this point that I want to make here, the failures along the way. Where was I going with that? Sorry, I've lost my train of thought just then.
But I mean, it is.
Authentically happy.
I was just going to say, it is about failures and coming back up.
The biggest mistake that I see, so why are these stats so unfortunate? The biggest mistake that I see, and I was doing myself, and give me a thumbs up or a love heart if you are relating to this, is that as an entrepreneur, I was always looking for the next fix. I was always looking for the next bright, shiny object. I was always looking for the how to do this ad, or how to make that website, or how to find that product, thinking that would make me successful. When I gave up chasing the ghost, then things started to change.
Absolutely.
And that came through an epiphany in my 30s, of when I was going through college, becoming a personal trainer, when I heard a message from one of the greats, Jim Rohn, and he said, formal education will make you a living, self-education can make you a fortune. And for things to change, first you must change. And what I realized about myself, Robbie, and I would love to know if you're relating to this, is that I was the common denominator, showing up in all the perceived failures, broken relationships, broken love lives, broken, friendships, not so great health.
Yeah.
And until the day I started looking in the mirror,
yeah,
things were never going to change.
Yeah, and I can personally not only agree, but I validate that in more ways than you can imagine. And I think it's true. I never thought it was possible to be able to wake up, and I go to bed most nights now. Occasionally we have a bump, but most nights like it's Christmas Eve. I can't wait to turn my feet out of my bed, stand up and face the day and seize the day. And I think that's so important, is that once you realize that it's, so much about head and getting and looking for the help in the right places. Amanda touched on a point about, I had bright shiny objects disease. I was inflicted with it. I've had to heal myself of that disease because I was always looking for the next strategy, Facebook ad, whatever it was going to be to rise above the noise in my head. Then I realized that it was so much more than that. And I think that's a really massive point. Make sure you have got your journals with you and a cuppa or whatever your drink of choice is, because there is so much we're going to share with you about all of this, about the failures, about rising up. The wisdom we're going to share with you is, we're not doing this just for fun, although it is a whole bunch of fun. It's about rising you up and giving you wisdom and supporting you on your entrepreneurial journey. So should we dive in, Amanda?
Yeah, I want to add on to that.
Go for it.
I am prepared to sit here and bare my heart and soul with you. I understand how you feel. I understand that sometimes you don't think anyone can see you, and that people don't understand your dreams. And here I am. My role here is to show you what's possible. I've been through so many ups and downs, so many lows. I've made millions. I've lost millions. I've had the successful businesses. I've had the unsuccessful businesses. And I just want you to know, before we keep jumping on here, that you are understood. If you're an entrepreneur and you're watching this, you are understood very deeply. And I think that is the core message that I want to get through today. And so pop your questions in, and if we got time today, I'll answer a couple. If not on this show, absolutely in the future, because the greatest thing that held me back when I started out was I was too frightened to ask for help. I didn't want to look stupid. I failed everything at school except 2 subjects. I don't have a college degree. I actually left home at 16 and I was by myself. It was very lonely.
Very lonely.
And I was so frightened. I didn't know what I was doing, who I could turn to. And that's why I think it is so important to raise your hand. It's not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength.
Yeah, absolutely. And put that team around you. Take the dream killers and pop them to the side, and put a team around you that's in your corner. It's why we were so passionate about bringing together Amanda with all of these global women to create a stage for, isn't it?
Such great stories. Yeah. I mean, it's humbling. Some of these stories that we're hearing are humbling.
And nobody's holding back. They're giving us the good, the bad, and the ugly. They're really diving in and sharing, the pain points as much as they're, sharing with us the successes.
Well, you know what they're saying? Interesting enough, all these incredible conversations with our contributors for the Millionaires Magazine, all of them, 100% of them have said this to me: Amanda, we need more women to rise. We need to elevate other women's greatness.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
need more women sharing their gifts and their talents and helping others. And I say, there is no competition. This is a global stage. This is a global movement. And together we can band together to elevate self-worth, because without self-worth, there is no net worth, and net worth affects life worth.
Absolutely.
Because no money affects the things that are important to us.
Absolutely. And I think that's been the most humbling part and the most joyful part of this journey with Amanda, is that these contributors are, we've got a waiting list now of contributors that want to be in our magazine, because they're so wanting to see women rise up, to see women, to take charge and move forward. So before we move on to some more golden wisdom, I've got lots here. Make sure you subscribe to the magazine, www.millionairesmagazine.com. It is free, 12 issues free, and you'll be the first to get all of these amazing conversations that Amanda has, plus gold from Amanda within the pages of the magazine.
And it is chock-block of
good point,
great stories, great wisdom, no advertising. We're not selling anything. We are here to pass the torch on.
Yeah.
You know, we are here because we choose to be.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of these stories and conversations that I'm having with other global leaders around the world are just, you know, really beautiful, and so many great hearts, so much wisdom, and so much adversity overcome on this journey.
Absolutely.
And I have not heard one story where it's been a straight road.
Rosie,
yet.
absolutely. And as Amanda talked about before, a heart-filled business, these conversations are heart-filled. Like, they are literally heart-to-heart conversations. This is not a technical lecture like, I love universities to a degree, but, you know, it's not a university lecture. This is heart-filled conversations that we're having with these phenomenal women, and Amanda's sitting with them and beside them to draw out all that gold so that she can share it with you in the pages of the magazine. Now, I'd like to dive into one of those conversations now, and that was with a lady called Alison J. Prince.
Fabulous conversation.
Absolutely. Now, Alison, for those of you who don't know, helps people turn their trash into cash. She has a business from 0 to 100K. She also is the leader of Because I Can movement, and she's a mum, she's a wife, and she's just a lovely, lovely person. It was an absolute pleasure, wasn't it, Amanda, to chat to her?
From the feedback I've had so far about the Millionaires magazine, Alison is one of the favourites.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read it, it is so worth subscribing just to read. In fact, all the stories are fabulous, but Alison is standout.
Yes, and we sat down. So Amanda's interviewing all of these women, and we've got these behind the scenes footage of Amanda's interview with Alison. So as editors and producers, we all sat down to pull out, you know, the wisdom and these little diamonds that she shared with us in the interview. And there's a few points that I wanted to draw out today, and we want to hear from Alison, and we can talk about those points and help these women to dive into the wisdom within the pages. The first was about what we've just been talking about, which is the rising up of women and how important it is to see women rising up. So guys, can we play the video from Alison about the women rising up?
A generational movement
Yes.
that we're stepping into.
Yes.
And if I can create these mini wins for these women to start feeling confident in themselves, and then they can pass that down to their children,
yes,
then just think what life's going to look like. The women will be leading the world. I'm already starting to see this change so incredibly much. These young girls are stepping into leadership. They're stepping into business so much faster than, I did it. I started stepping into it when I was 23, but my daughters were able to do it at 10 and 13.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's so cool. It is so cool. So
it.
that's why I light up. That's why you light up. This is, we see what's happening and we're part of it. And it's
So as you can hear, Alison's talking about being a generational movement, that this is about the generations. And in the movement, Amanda talks about 100 million women in 100 years. So let's talk about why this is really a generational movement that we're creating.
Well, I love to call it the butterfly effect. You know, I really believe that as entrepreneurial women or as human beings, it is our duty to pass on the torch. And here's what the vision that I have is that if we band together and to help each other elevate in our self-worth, our net worth, and our life worth, and then in turn, we start to change our habits, our languaging, and to show our younger generation what's possible with different education than schooling. There's nothing wrong with schooling. However, we are the cause and the effect. And so my vision is to impact, with all of your help, all of our contributors, and through the magazine, 100 million women over the next 100 years. And I believe that is a lot. I think we need to increase that number because that's only 1 million women a year. But imagine generation of women rising. Now, one of our contributors has actually coined the phrase is that women are going to rule the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about the butterfly effect. Why butterflies? What made you think of butterflies when you were coming up with the butterfly effect and that as part of the Millionairess movement?
Oh, it's a great question. It was just pure and simple. The butterfly, from the caterpillar, goes through this most incredible transformation and goes from a caterpillar through there's actually 4 stages, and then emerges as the most beautiful creature in my eyes, as the magnificent butterfly. But what people don't see is that the full transformation that is going on inside. The transformation is within. And then the butterfly emerges as this most beautiful creature. And that is the same for humans, especially along the entrepreneurial journey, and especially if you would love to build a financial wall around you and your family. It takes a full transformation, because if we knew it, we would have done it. I have this saying, if we would have known it, we would have done it. But most people just don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what those progressive steps are, and that's where the butterfly effect comes from.
And I think this is often the most beautiful part, but often can be the most challenging part of a journey. So you've started out as this caterpillar. The people around you know you as this caterpillar, and they're used to being that caterpillar in their lives. And as you start to go through this transformation, it can be tough for those around you. It can be, the reason it becomes really lonely is because you start to change. And sometimes the people around you don't like to see that change. You know, it scares them, it unnerves them. It can create a lot of fear in both the people around you and in yourself, can't it?
Incredible fear. Now this is, you know, where I really want to have a conversation heart to heart with you, because if you are an entrepreneur, I know that you will be experiencing this. I experienced it right from the get-go. People laughed at me, they ridiculed me. I was building a business, and I had a remark from somebody who was a very close friend of mine who said, "How's your little business going?" And I remember it was just like a stab in the heart. It was my everything. And the people that I loved the most, that I thought would be thrilled about my journey and the life that I wanted to create for myself, sometimes they're the ones that want to protect you. They want to protect you from the failures or losing your money and keep you safe. However, it's like you don't want to stay safe. This is the entrepreneurial journey. You're not going to be safe. And it's so important to get around others who keep you pushing you forward, going, I believe in you.
Absolutely. I call the people that they're now called dream killers. For me personally, they were called the champagne mafia.
Oh, I like that. What's that mean?
You know, well, in the playground. So I, as a mum, I was in the playground, and, you know, I didn't fit the mold of, you know, the normal mum that was in the playground. So, you know, I'd often be doing all sorts of wonderful things, and I'd get that look from them going, sorry, what is it exactly that you do? From my head to my toes, up and down they were. And it was always that it was their own fear coming up for them. Now, I wasn't involved enough at that time to understand that, and it can really knock you for a six. It can actually throw you on where you think, you know what, maybe I should just stop. Maybe I should just conform to what it is. And, you know, and I labeled them the champagne mafia because it would make me giggle a little bit and make me take, you know, the heat out of it. But it actually, you know, at times I just stopped talking about what I was doing. I stopped sharing it. I stopped allowing people to be part of the journey because it just hurt too much to have you know, the wind knocked from under you and, you know, pushed down, and, you know, and they keep wanting to hold you down.
Yeah.
You know, and it can be
problem.
tough.
And it's a very real problem. And so how do you overcome that? What do you do? And this is where you have a choice. And give me a thumbs up or a love heart if you're relating to any of this, because I know what it's like. You have a choice and you go, do I go back to please them and appease them? And some of these people are your children, parents,
partners,
guardians, partners. These are the hard things. These are the hard decisions we need to make as women or entrepreneurs, whatever. And you go, do I go against my own desires or my own soul? And that's the question I have for you. Are you going against your own desires, your own soul, or do you please others? Because what I've experienced is every time I've tried to please others, appease others, a little piece of my soul felt crushed every single day until in the end I gave in.
Yeah.
You know, I gave in to my soul. And there's a great saying by the philosopher Emerson, I'd rather have the whole world against me than my own soul. And so my question for you watching
I think
this,
that's a tweetable, a journal, highlight it, underline it. Say that again, Amanda. I think you need to say that again.
From Emerson, this is a beautiful, write this down in your journal. Get the journal out, gorgeous. I would rather have the whole world against me than my own soul. And I read that many years ago. I had that message many years ago. And that was the day I gave up trying to please other people. I allowed them to have their viewpoint. But I asked myself, Amanda, What is your calling? What is your purpose? You know, most people don't even know what their purpose is. And this is not, you know, to judge anyone. We're not taught this stuff. This stuff doesn't come natural.
And even for you, Amanda, as evolved as you are, you had a tapping on your, you know, soul's front door that was basically saying, this is what you're meant to be doing. This is what you're meant to be doing. And you had the noise all around you going, well, how are you going to create a business out of that? How are you going to, but it just kept knocking, didn't it? Until you went, well, I've got to, I don't have a choice anymore.
And I asked the question, I believe if you're watching this, you know your calling, and it's just whether sometimes we got to find the courage to allow that calling to come to the surface. And this is my true calling. I have no doubt about it. You know, I've known for many, many years, but like many of you, I didn't know how to bring the calling to fruition. I didn't know where to begin. I actually didn't think that I was capable. Now, this is coming from my heart after having quite a few successful businesses, which is a whole nother story.
We'll get to that.
That will unfold. But even this time, the fear never goes away. And I've even had conversations with great women like Kim Kiyosaki, so successful. We all still go through these fears.
Absolutely.
And self-doubt. And yet one day I just had to sit quietly and I asked myself, am I going to go through the rest of my days with the tapping? It's just a knowing, and I think you know what I'm saying. It is a deep knowing. Do I face it and look for help, which you gave me the help I needed? I've got a great team, which is in our studio here, surrounded by incredible team and an A team, incredible friends who believed in the movement, sometimes more than myself. My own husband, Matt, who's in this room, kept pushing me forward, saying, you can do this, get the help you need. This is bigger than you, because the cause was bigger than myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I needed to find a way to push through.
Yeah, and I think that's the important part to remember, that there are going to be the days where, and I think actually the point you made about the fear never going away, you know, it's about harnessing the fear. It's about taking hold of the fear and using it as fuel to drive you forward. And understanding how to do that. And that's what we want to really elevate you with, is that information, is that we're going to be there beside you with the magazine and other things that we're bringing to you, so that we can help you to harness the fear and take you along the journey. Now, we've got another little point that I would like to, guys, sorry to throw this at you, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, is Alison talked about failures. So she talked about the fear of failure. So this is, I'm jumping ahead, guys, so sorry, I'm doing this to you. She talked about the fear of failures and the journey of business, and how failure can be actually one of the greatest gifts. So I'm sorry to do that to our poor producers. They're behind the scenes going, what's she doing to us? But let's go to Alison, where she talks about how to overcome failures.
When you start a business, you know how much mental it takes it to your first dollar, right?
Yes.
I almost think that getting to your first dollar and your first 100,000 is the hardest part, because it's 90% mental, and you have to break through that every day. So when you go tell your friend, I just made $10 online, they turn to you and they're like, well, that's really far from the million that you want to make, right? And they're not trying to be mean, but they don't quite understand the progress that you've made to get that first 10. If you've seen the meme going around where Michael Jordan says he missed 9,000 shots, he lost 200 of the playoff games when it was his job to win. And that is what got him successful today. We have to have those failures. Because that's what teaches us, don't go down that route. I remember one of the first products I bought, it was this wood watermelon. And I was so excited to sell it. And I brought it into the where we were shipping, and one of my gals looked at me and she said, Allison, that looks like a toilet bowl lid. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And I had spent $2,000, which was like all the money that I had, because I was like, this is going to blow it out of the park. This is going to do amazing. And she's kind of like, all right, whatever. And so I took these products, I put them online, and I think I sold one or two. And I'm like, what? No. And so that was the learning lesson, where I was able to take 2,000, which was so painful at the time, but it taught me, don't overbuy. You need to test your product. Don't be so.
So there's some really great points in there. The first one that Alison made is about it often starts with the first dollar, and you know how hard it is just to get to that first dollar, and that so many people, you know, you'll go and say to people, look, I made $10, and they look at you and go, you've been working for 6 weeks to make $10, but they don't realize all the engine room behind you. Stay tuned to the end of this actually, and we'll show you the engine room behind what built all of this and what brought us here today. But it really does start with that, you know, people don't realize it's all the inner workings behind it, and then it starts with that first dollar, doesn't it?
I remember when I made my first dollar on the internet.
The dub.
On the dub. It was like I'd won the lottery.
Yeah.
And what it does is when you have that first little win, and it doesn't matter how small it is, and this is why Alison talks about it, it shifts your belief from doubt to possible. Please write that down in your journal.
Yeah.
It shifts your belief from doubt to possible. That's why I call my journal My Life by Design. At the end of the day, this is about creating a life by design that you love living every single day, building that financial wall around you and your family, and getting into that 30% of people who authentically love their life. But that $1, I remember, and it was something that we'd sold on eBay back in the day, back in 2005, and it was a Wilbur Smith book. And my husband, Matt, needed to do the copywriting. And on eBay, you can do lots of copywriting. It literally took him 6 hours to prepare a few photos, do a little bit of copywriting, and we sold the book for 99 cents.
You made 99 cents for 6 hours work? That's amazing.
And Matthew's going, now that's not a very good hourly rate, but what it did is, I remember like dancing around the room, we're having a champagne because we thought we were so good. But it just changed us because we were dead broke at the time. We were living off credit cards. I was wondering if it was ever going to happen for us, and we'd been to countless seminars, so many mentors, so many different businesses, which we'll talk about along this journey. But it was that one moment where the impossible turned to possible.
Absolutely.
And from there, it just took off, and we built an empire from that moment on. So that's the power of the first dollar.
Absolutely. And that's where, you know, sharing the journey with those, you know, what I call champagne mafia in the playground, is they don't get it. They don't understand what it took to get to that first dollar, and that it is just the first step. And we'll talk a little bit more later about what Amanda calls the 1 degree and how important that is. But also in the little cut we did to Alison there, she talked about failures being a gift. Now, for some of you who are maybe sitting at home and going, are you kidding me? Failures are a gift. Sister, you are drinking something more than water in that glass. You are literally, is that tequila? You know, because when you are in the midst of a failure, it does not feel like a very nice gift at all, does it, Amanda?
Oh, how long have you got? Get yourself a bottle. You're gonna need it.
Where's the tequila?
So many of them. And over time, I've had to work my own mindset, you know, work it like putty. And this is why I refer back to the Jim Rohn quote. That was my first epiphany that changed the trajectory of my life, to work harder on myself. Formal education compared to self-education. Again, you know, you are your greatest investment, because it's in the darkest moments that are going to test you. When you have your face in the dirt and you're knowing that people are watching, it's kind of like a car crash. And, you know, people sometimes like to see you fail. You're wondering if you have what it takes to get back up. I know I've been in the dirt so many times, and you're laying there. And this is why I say, you know, building a heart-filled business, building a soul-filled business is so critical to be able to build a financial wall, because it's in those darkest moments that if you don't have the right vehicle, which is the business, that's when you'll quit. All the right people around you.
Yeah, I was actually going to, I'm going to stop you there for a second, because that's the point I wanted to actually chat to you about is, you know, having people around you. But I know you've talked about it a lot, and for me personally, it's about having the word is used is called a mentor. So someone that when you are literally on your knees thinking, I cannot get up, this isn't working, it's not what all the thoughts come into your head. I can't do this, it's not working, I'm a failure, I'm hopeless, you know, all those lovely, you know,
all the good
the
words.
little voice on your shoulder in your ear.
Give us a thumbs up or a love heart if you've had those thoughts too.
You
Is
know,
it just us? I don't think
and then you
so.
get the pile on. It's not only your own voices in your head, but then you get the pile on everyone around you going, yeah, told you it wasn't going to work, told you it wasn't going to work. That's why it's so important for people to have that, you know, your wing person, a mentor around you to be able to support you on the journey. I'm sure you've, you know, absolutely had that in your life.
Dozens of them.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I've learned along the pathway is this, that for us, there's good credit, bad credit. Mm-hmm. And I remember I learnt that from back in the day, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I think most people have probably heard of that book, if not read that book, that you are your greatest investment. And I remember my husband and I, we got a credit card to invest in a mentor because we'd run out of answers.
Yeah.
Babe, I was running out of time. You know, as an entrepreneur, ask yourself, have you got time to stuff around with all the gear and no idea like I was, wasting years, wasting time? Because you can always get more money, but you can't get more time. And so for us, the greatest investment we have ever made, this is not about the houses, the cars, the holidays and the travel. That's the beautiful stuff with the lifestyle.
Yeah.
The greatest and most intelligent investment that we have ever made along this entrepreneurial journey is into mentors. However, the mentors have always had the success we wanted.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, so when you're looking for a mentor, there are a few things that you would say to people, I guess, about what it is. And that's one of them, is that make sure they've got the success that you desire and that you want for yourself.
Well, everyone's got an opinion, aren't they? Haven't they? I was going to say something, but I can't say it on TV.
Not live, not live.
Everyone's got an opinion, right?
Yeah.
However, you know, toothless Uncle Bob, who doesn't have the net worth and the freedom that you are
Who's got a toothless Uncle Bob out there?
I've got it. Well, I'm from Tasmania, so I'm in that group. I love Uncle Bob, but please don't ask toothless Uncle Bob for financial advice, for business advice. In fact, your friends, your beautiful family, who I know have your highest interest at heart most of the time.
Yeah.
Don't ask people for advice if they haven't got the result, because they don't know how to get you there. They are not qualified. Please write that down in your journal.
Yep.
Never, ever ask the advice of somebody who doesn't know how to get you there, because they're not qualified.
Yeah.
You don't have the time as an entrepreneur. Now I'm going on a rampage.
Go for it,
You
girl.
don't have the time as an entrepreneur. Do you know that most people only start a business in their late 30s, 40s? Ask yourself, when do you want to retire? You don't want to be waiting till you're 70, till you're 80, till you're 90.
No.
So you've only got this little window here.
Yeah.
I say to myself, and one of my mentors said this to me, he says, Amanda, pay once, cry once. What does that mean? Invest into a mentor, and I call that good credit. Bad credit, as the Kiyosakis talk about, is doodads.
Yeah, we love the doodads.
Yeah. Liabilities, that stuff that doesn't put money into your pocket, whereas us on a credit card with our education, self-education, has put money into our pocket, so that turns into an asset.
Yeah, I think you've said you've spent, what, more than $630,000 on your own education.
Now, I understand for some of you listening to this, that will sound unbelievable. You might be going, bull dust, Amanda, and I understand. It started with a book.
Yeah.
We were started dead broke.
Yeah.
You know, I used to drive a pie van as a business.
Yeah.
You know, well, I have so many stories. So you want to be back here next month, gorgeous, because we've got some stories.
And it does start off with a book. And, you know, just as a little note, that if you subscribe to Millionairess Magazine, you actually get access to Amanda's book, you know, From Frustrated to Fabulous. So start there.
Oh, yes.
Start with that journey. You know, there's $1 million worth of business education that the Millionairess Movement Magazine is giving away, because that can just be the thing. That can be the match that ignites. Same for me. You know, I went to one event. It was a free event that I actually was dragged along by a hugely successful entrepreneur with an extremely large business, who said, you need to, and back in the day, he was actually in a garage at the time, working out of a garage, and he has now catapulted his business. And he said, you need to come along to this. And honestly, it was one of those shifts. It was one of those moments in time that shifted everything. I you know, found a future business partner that I wasn't expecting. I could go on. And I couldn't agree with Amanda more, that it's having that person by your side. And the one thing that has not surprised me, but probably affirmed this even more to me, is when we go back and watch all of Amanda's conversations as the editorial team, when we're putting together the wisdom in the pages of the magazine to share with you, we often ask them about whether they've had a mentor. Now, we are talking to women that have got global businesses. They're on global stages. They are at the top of their game, and every single one of them talks about the power of having a mentor. Not one of them has said, oh no, I'm just doing this on my own, I'm winging it.
And just to add there, here's the thing, and write this in your journal, gorgeous. We become like those we hang out with. And I want you to ask yourself a question, and you'll relate to this, I know you will. Ask yourself after this show's finished, who are the top 10 people I hang out with? What are our conversations? Are they uplifting or are they pulling me down? Are they helping me move towards the lighthouse of my dreams, or are they taking me backwards in time under a dark cloud? Because the other thing that I want to ask is, then how much money do you earn and do they earn? I guarantee that you will all earn in and around 10 to 15% of each other. We become who we hang out with. So it is okay. I'm giving you permission to move through some friends. It doesn't mean you have to dump people or never see them. However, you can see them less. And I had this beautiful conversation with a girlfriend of mine this morning who was actually doing my hair for this show. And she said, I feel like I'm pulled in all these different directions, Amanda. I can't say no. And I said, you need to learn that saying thank you but no thank you can be your greatest friend as an entrepreneur. Because people want you to do what they want you to do based on what's important to them, forgetting what's important for you. And when I learned to say thank you but no thank you, I have commitments, I have a vision that I want to fulfill, I have dreams I want to achieve. They fell by the wayside, and how I ended it was this. I know you'll understand as an entrepreneur. Then lovely. They have nothing. So you can borrow that line, okay?
That's
Write that down in the journal.
An awesome close to the friendships. And I think it's true. We have to do these friendship audits. We have to have a really good look and be a little bit tough. And it can often be really hard. It can be, like we said, a partner. It can be a parent. It can be people around you that are really, that you feel you should be, keep close to you and that you should. And it's all about just having a perspective. And, we don't necessarily say, bury them in the backyard. We're talking about,
that's not a good idea.
No, I don't recommend that. Note on the screen, please, people. We highly recommend we don't do that. But basically, it's about just distancing yourself and allowing that space, but having the mentor that you do want in your space that's allowing to encourage you and to lift you up and to cheer you on and celebrate the moments when you're successful, but also pick you up.
And I just want to say on that, a mentor who doesn't buy the BS, a mentor who doesn't buy our excuses. I think I'm going to write another book called Excuse-itis. Give me a sign if you've ever had an excuse around the reason why you're not living the life that you want, or having the business that you want, or the money in the bank that you want, or the freedom that we all want. I know what you dream of.
Actually, it's really true.
Underlying all that.
Absolutely. And I think excuses, I remember, is yesterday we were lucky enough and privileged enough for Amanda to sit down again. I asked Amanda and said, please, Amanda, will you sit down again? We interviewed a lady by the name of Gia Fay. Now, Gia Fay is the founder of Body by Gia. She has 55 million views on YouTube and 600, I know, it's phenomenal, and 620,000 subscribers to her YouTube channel. And you actually, we're not going to play that part of the video today, but there was a conversation you had with her about excuses. She trains people in fitness and health. And so she was talking about the fact that she charges people, I think she said 30 classes up front, because she just doesn't want them to come up with an excuse. So, she talked about why she had to eliminate ability for people to make excuses. So I think you're right. Excuses can often be the big thing that knocks us at our knees and takes us off the journey.
They will steal our dreams. Excuses will steal your dreams. And that's why if you choose a mentor, you want to choose a mentor that can see through all that. And that's why they must have experience in the area that you want to achieve success in.
Absolutely.
It is critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we also talked a lot more to Gia. As I said, I asked Amanda if she'd be willing to sit down with Gia again to draw out a little bit more wisdom out of Gia, because the two of them, honestly, when you watch them, they are like family now. We are very...
sisters from another mother.
They are, definitely. And, they're very much, she's very much passionate about the Millionairess movement and educating and elevating women. And she made a really great point that I think, so we're talking to you now and we're going, do this, this is what, but the one thing that Amanda always draws us all back to as a team, and anyone that's around her, is the 1 degree. So just shifting your life compass by 1 degree. So if we go to a little bit about what Gia talks about, she calls it just one thing, and then we'll come back and talk about 1 degree.
focus on is think about like you're going to do it just for now. Just for now, let's do this blog or let's do these videos. And eventually it could become, you know, your destiny or your passion. When I first started my business, I just made one YouTube video. I made this small video to market my personal training business. And it was just this little baby step that I said, I'm going to do this for now. I don't know where this is going to take me, but I'm going to put the little action and the little time, because I had a little time. I was training clients all day. I was teaching classes all day. But the little time that I had, I made sure that I put just one step forward at something bigger. And just doing that for that moment and in my mind thinking, this is just going to be for now. That also helps you take that first step, because a lot of times we don't take even that baby step because we don't procrastinate because we're lazy. We procrastinate really because there's fear of failure, fear of success, the belief systems that we have. Maybe growing up, you adopted a belief system of you're not good enough, your decisions aren't good enough. So even making that little step really starts to build that confidence. And I think that's the most important thing when you want to make that little step, is think about the confidence you're going to build with doing something so small. And from something so small, I mean, I've seen it in my life. It could turn into something 1 million followers later. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Okay, so it's just one thing, you know, just one thing. And as Amanda calls it, the 1 degree, the compass turning 1 degree. So talk about that, Amanda.
I love the analogy because I look at it like this, right? Life. Just imagine you're out in the middle of the ocean and you're the captain of your life ship. And if you don't set that compass to where you want to go to, the ship's just sitting out there rolling around in the ocean.
Yep.
You don't know when the weather's going to change or a swell's going to move in, and you're either going in 2 directions. Your life is either heading backwards into misery and failure, a life of quiet desperation, or you've set your compass and you're heading towards the lighthouse of your dreams. So I want you to imagine your life right now and honestly ask yourself, where am I? Am I floating around just hoping and praying for a miracle? Or have I truly set my compass? But here's the beautiful thing, and I want you to know that success is not difficult. It's not an easy journey. But what most people don't understand, Robin, is that if you simply turn your life compass by just 1 degree, over time, progressively taking action steps forward or following your mentor towards the lighthouse where success awaits you, riches of life await you, then it will happen.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's a success formula.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about it that I want to share.
And when I was listening to Gia talk, and I'm just listening to Amanda talk then, as a fellow entrepreneurial woman on this journey with you all, I hear you and I validate everything that you've just said. But what is the one thing? You know, how do we know what step to take next? So we're sitting at home going, yep, we're with you, we're right there with you. How do you know what step to take? You know, what sort of, you know, some days, you know, when back in the day when I was in this journey and I was really lost, I actually didn't know what to do. I was lost. I was, you know, the compass just wasn't there. It was broken.
It was
yeah,
going,
I had a compass, but it was spinning around going, which way are you going, sister? And, you know, and there's so much distraction out there. So how do you know what to do with that one thing?
Do any of you feel like your compass is broken and it's just going around and around, or a big wave is about to take you out like a tsunami? I know how that feels. The beautiful thing is this, you know, it begins with just you. And I want to just share something here I think is really profound and important, especially if you're feeling the fear and you're going, oh, man, Amanda's reading my mind. You know, I'm really relating to some of her stories. It truly begins with you. It begins with self-evaluation, learning to know who you are, learning to love yourself enough to allow yourself to unfold who you are, what you're here to do, your vision or your calling or your purpose, which we love to help people do. But then allowing yourself just to take that one step. And if I was in your shoes and I wasn't living the life that I've dreamed about, I didn't have the business that I felt was heart-filled, serving people soulfully, jumping out of bed every morning, you know, wanting to get into my day, or if I didn't have great health, a relationship that I wanted, the lover that I wanted beside me along the pathway, the great friends, everything, the money in the bank, because we're talking about finance here. Here's what I would do. At the end of this show, take a moment, get your journal. This is why journaling has the power. This is not just to get you to do something, journaling, because motion without emotion, you'll have no results. But what I would love you to do is take some time out, get yourself a glass of wine, or bubbles, whatever you're into, a cup of tea, coffee, and just give yourself 45 minutes, whatever it takes, just to write down a new story, what you would love your life to look like. It is so important, but I want to talk about every area here. I'm talking your love, your health, your relationships, you know, your family, your vocation, which is your business and your career, the money in the bank. What does it look like? Because here's the truth. And until you allow yourself to peel back the layers, or like a flower or an onion, as some people say, you will never find yourself. You will never find your salvation. And I think that is the greatest gift. That's where I began. What did I want it to look like? And it starts with the end in mind, Robin, and we work ourselves backwards to the now, and we just take that one step. And it's progression.
I think the hardest part personally for me with that though is, and I would love it if you could help me and everyone that I think is probably thinking the same thing, is there's a lot of noise coming in and there's a lot of expectation around. So I think I'm writing down my purpose, but I'm actually writing down the purpose of the expectation of what everyone else wants for me. So how do you dig in a bit? How do you get down and go, okay, girlfriend, that's actually your husband's purpose for you, or your kids? You know, I love my children. They're part of what makes me, you know, get up every day and feel joy. But at the same time, their life purpose can often enter mine and can drag me off path. So how do you dive in, you know, in that journaling process? What are some tips you could give us on diving in?
That's a really great question, and I've gone through this myself with my own husband, Matt. And you know what we would do, we'd go down to the beach and take a towel and just have a drink, and we'd just let our imagination run wild. You know what? We have forgotten to let ourselves open up, and this is the biggest reason why most people live a life of quiet desperation. They do not let their imagination run wild. They are frightened to be truthful with themselves, frightened of the criticism with self and others. But here's what I know from my own journey. When you actually write it down and you get it off your chest, then you can go to that first step and ask yourself, how can I make this possible? How can I turn what feels impossible to possible? And then what we do, my husband and I, for instance, I'd say, you write down your perfect day, I'll write down my perfect day.
Fingers crossed they match reasonably well.
It doesn't matter, because we all have different values. You know, Matthew has different dreams and goals that are different than mine. Then what we do, we come together as a family. This is a beautiful thing to do as a family, and go, wow, what's important to each other? How can we align that together? Get the help we want, get around the right people who believe in us all. It's possible.
You know, I just had a little bit of an aha there, to quote Oprah. Often I think, you know, for me as a wife and mother and entrepreneur, is that I'm often setting a compass to what my vision is and what I think I should be doing as a wife and mother. And I wonder if I sat down with the kids and my husband and they wrote out their values, whether I'm going, well, actually, I thought you really needed me to do this. And they're going, no, I don't rate the fact that you're baking me a carrot cake on a Monday. It doesn't even enter my stratosphere. So I think I hope you wrote that down, because if you can sit, and what I heard Amanda say there in my head is to go a little bit Disneyland. You know, I can remember as a child thinking about what I wanted out of the Christmas, under the Christmas tree, or what I wanted as, you know, presents or a holiday that I wanted to go on, or an experience that I wanted to have. But then all of a sudden we become all so serious and we start thinking about, oh, how, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. What are we going to do about it? You know, so that's where we lose all that sense of wonder and excitement and the possibility.
You just said something beautiful there. Here's the truth. If the why is big enough, the why is where you want to get to, that's the rainbow or the lighthouse, getting away from the cloud. Remember, we're talking about bridging the gap here. Eventually the hows will take care of themselves. The first conversation, which is the most difficult conversation, is writing it out, what the perfect life looks like. That's why I call my own journal my life by design.
Yep.
I don't want to live a life that somebody else wants me to live.
Accidentally.
You know, and so if you do that with your family, you may be surprised. You watching this, you may be very surprised, and no one's wrong, no one's right. You go, wow, I didn't know that about you. There's something that you may learn about your children, your partner, your friends. You go, okay, what's the very first step that we can take together to make that a reality?
Yeah.
It all starts with the imagination. It is the gateway. Write this down. Imagination is the gateway to turning your impossible to possible, because I know it's possible. I've lived it, you've lived it,
Yep.
and I believe in you. You know, we believe in your dreams. We get it,
Yep.
but it's very, very possible. We started at zero. I was in debt,
Yep.
majorly in debt.
Yeah, and I think it's about dropping out of your head and into your heart.
Into your heart.
Yeah, and the
Have
heart
a bit of
filled
fun
business.
with it.
Yeah,
that's why I
that's
say
right.
get a bubbles or a glass of wine, and if you don't drink, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
But you know, after a glass of wine, you know, you really start to go to town. You go, what if I could do this? What if I could do that? And you start to allow yourself, because what happens, Robin, over time is we've been pushed down so much, like a pancake that's been smacked, that will never rise when it goes into the oven
Yep.
or onto the hot plate. That's us as human beings. Give me
Yep.
a sign if you feel like a flattened out pancake.
Flat as a pancake.
And so when you say, well, write down your perfect day, most people have been so flattened in their hopes and their dreams. They go, I got nothing. But if you allow yourself the time, and I just want to answer a quick question that's come in from one of our beautiful viewers here. Her name's Jo. Just on this, she said to me, how do you get brave enough to find a mentor, because I'm scared to voice my idea to an expert? And what I want to say on that is that if you engage the right mentor who actually has a result that you're looking for in your life, in your business, in your financial structure, that wall, they won't judge you because they've been you.
Yep.
That is why I say never ever ask anyone who doesn't have the result that you want, because they're not qualified, and they are the people I would never trust my hopes and dreams with.
Yeah, that's the Uncle Bob's, remember?
Yep.
Toothless
Uncle Bob.
Bob.
I've never had a mentor, Jo, who has ever ridiculed me as a mentor. I would never say anything about anyone else's dreams, because my dreams, look at what we're creating here, a global movement.
Yep.
Like, some people would laugh in my face.
Yep.
Even I had self-doubt.
Yep.
And that's why I co-created
Yeah,
with you.
Absolutely.
And have this great team around us. So
Yeah.
I hope that helps you, Jo. I believe in your girlfriend.
Oh, so do I. So do I. And the other thing about that too is about, you know, it's not just about a mentor. It's about the mastermind. I mean, I love that word. You know, I love the word mastermind because I know what it really means. Explain to anyone who might not understand the true meaning of a mastermind what a mastermind is, Amanda.
You know, there is a great saying, Napoleon Hill. Now, this is another journal moment, right?
Or a tweetable.
This is brilliant. In the right mastermind for business and life success, you can achieve more in 2 to 5 years, in fact, in the first year, than you can achieve going it alone in a lifetime. Now, you think about that as a woman, as an entrepreneur. Do you have a lifetime to waste? Do you have a lifetime to wait? I certainly don't. And
No.
the right mastermind is a collective energy, a collective group with the right leader. It must have the right leader, and there's a few things that must be within a mastermind where you're not alone, and together you band together, you elevate each other, and you're all on the same journey to
Yep.
success, to
Yep.
the same lighthouse. Let's call it the lighthouse.
Yep.
Or harbour.
Yep.
We're talking boats now, to the same harbour.
Yep.
And it's like that momentum, that snowball. Once that snowball gets enough momentum, because it is in the times of the fear and the doubt and the losses and the failures, perceived failures,
Yep.
that when you lean in on the right mastermind, that is the time where you will have the collective energy
Yep.
who want your success, and you'll be able to get your big girl courage pants on. I
Yep.
like to say, have a cup of concrete.
Absolutely.
And let's keep going.
Yeah.
That's why I say choose your mentors wisely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's when you're at the darkest too. You know, we talked about the mentor lifting you up, but a mastermind allows you to stretch further. You know, it allows you to push yourself beyond the limits that you even thought possible. And again, I'm going to do this to our gorgeous producers behind the camera, but I think they're on to me now. So in video 3, we were talking, we've cut a few videos out of GFA, of her chat conversation. She talks about even herself. You know, this is the woman that's got 55 million views on YouTube and 620,000 subscribers. And she talks about the power of a mastermind. So if we could just go to that video now of GFA and the power of a mastermind.
And I think mentors, because they're vibrating at such a higher vibration and a higher frequency, because they get it, it literally rubs off on you. You know, people always say health is contagious. When you hang out with healthy people, you're more likely to be healthy. You can ask all 3 of my exes. They all got 6-packs in 3 months. Thank you very much. You know, but it's just the energy that you surround yourself with. And sometimes you need a mentor. Like I didn't grow up on the beach. I didn't know business owners other than my dad, who had like a mechanic shop, but I didn't know people with, you know, the white collar people. And so how are you able to know how they live if you want to live like them, if you don't know anybody like that? So mentors, if anything, especially if you don't have anybody around you, if my father was obviously in corporate and I was able to learn that from him, he would have been my mentor, but he wasn't. He had a very poor, like that book, Poor Man Mentality, poor dad mentality. They didn't know how to get to the next level. He did very good for us. And he bought a couple houses, he lives comfortable, but he could have taken it to the next level if he would have expanded his state of mind. And if he would have gotten a mentor on how to have more than just one business. Like I know how to have one business because I saw my dad, but I want to have 15 businesses. That's why I'm looking at you, woman. What are you doing?
So Gia is watching Amanda. She's watching, so she understands.
I love Gia.
Yeah, she's she's been great to talk to, and
Feels like I've known her forever.
Oh, you look like you're part of she is really part of the family, and you look like your family. But a woman as big as her, and with so much success already behind her, you know, she's already, you know, looking to Amanda after the conversations they've had and saying, I want to know what you're doing. I want what you have. I want to get to where you want to go, and I want to ask for help, and I'm happy to ask for help. And we've got a bit of a story about Amanda. Do you want to talk about the story about where you were talking to me this morning, which surprised me a little bit, about where you were on this movement, you understood that you had to do the movement, and then you decided that, you know, you and Matt talked, and he said, just get the help you need, surround yourself with the people you need, and the mastermind that we were in and what led to where we are now.
It's such a great thing that you just asked, because people sometimes look at people who they perceive successful and go, well, why would she need help? Well, why do I need help? The truth is this. Nobody gets to the top of their success mountain alone. Nobody. And as I said a moment ago, you know, from all the work I've done and I've been in this for 30 years. This is not an overnight thing.
She might look 30, but she's been in this for 30 years.
30 years in the trenches, in the dirt, more than I care to remember. But, you know, depending on the business you're in, and if you've swapped out a few businesses, you need help. I don't know everything. And I'm asking myself, I said to my husband, Matt, how am I going to reach and impact 100 million women? It just seemed like impossible to me. And this is what I'm saying about using the imagination. And then it was so great because I was at a conference and I ran into my very good friend here, Robbie. And I said, Robbie, I really need your help. Can we go out for a cup of coffee? Can I take you to lunch? Notice?
No, write that one down.
I want you to write something down in your journal, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Never ever say, if you're an entrepreneur and you need some advice or some help, never ever say, can I pick your brains?
Yeah.
That is the thing. Notice how I said, can I take you for coffee? Can I have lunch with you? I really need your help. And together, Robbie and myself, we formed our own alliance, our own mastermind. That's grown out. Now we have an A team around us, my husband, myself, Matt, and my sister, beautiful Mel, and my friends in the room here, Amanda and Jessie and Jamie. And we came up, you're the one that birthed the idea of, why don't we reach these women through creating a magazine, the Millionaires Movement magazine?
Yeah, and I think that the thing for me on the other side of that conversation was that Amanda is, and still is, a mentor that is, you know, I want to be, you know, I want to emulate. And I don't mean that in I want to become a single white female, I want to be. I mean, I want to emulate the success and the life of freedom and the financial wall and all those things. So I'm driving myself harder and elevating myself. But when Amanda said to me, little old me, you know, Robbie G.
What are you talking about?
You know, but for me, it was an intimidating conversation. It was, how could I possibly help Amanda J. Clarkson? You know,
hello.
I know. But, you know, and I knew what I was great at, but even still the doubt and the, you know, a little bit of self-doubt and, you know, to answer Joe's question even further is, you know, to go out and ask for help can be a bit fearful because you're scared that people are going to slap you down. But, you know, you've just got to trust, and I had to take trust. I mean, Amanda is a lovely person and she wasn't likely to knock me for a 6, but it was still going, what can I offer? And I thought, you know, go with it. Go and have the cup of coffee, have the conversation, see, you know, be gracious in accepting the offer, but, you know, bow out if you don't feel like you can offer it. And quite literally, and please stay around to the end where our beautiful team have created a video about the journey we've taken.
You have a couple of giggles.
You giggles, and it just, you know, I'm sat watching it last night in tears and in awe about this idea that was created by Amanda for this movement. Then we've coupled that with the magazine that features some of the most phenomenal women, and future issues will too. It was just from a conversation, a mastermind together where I believe, so finding that mastermind that's aligned with your values and what you want, so that was the important thing. You know, if Amanda had said to me, right, Robbie, I want to create a gambling site where we're going to be, you know, doing horse racing, it wouldn't have been aligned to my values, and I would have had to graciously unaccept the invitation to be a part of it.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Thank you, but no, politely, no. But, you know, because it was so aligned to what I was doing in, you know, with our publishing business, it meant that we could align together and, you know, for me, empowering women and allowing other women that have felt like we both have, and speaking for myself, really lonely on the journey of business, it was just such an opportunity. And that's what the power of coming out of a mastermind is, that you can, and that's why, again, we talk to all of them.
I just want to say something here. Robin, who is the publisher of Millionaires Magazine, you probably realise this by now, it's through Robin's genius that I get to have these incredible, life-altering conversations with world-leading women in business. And this is the alignment that you can create or partake in the right mastermind. And this is the gift that Robin brings her gifts to the table. I bring my gifts. Our team bring their gifts, because it's not a hierarchy, it's a pie of success. That's right. And without Robin's genius and her marketing background, her publishing background, journalism background, the likes of Lisa Vanderpump that we get to have conversations with, we get to align with, and other beautiful women who you will soon see, it wouldn't be possible. But, you know, I believe there's a greater force than just us happening.
Absolutely.
I really believe.
And I think that's the thing that's been a little bit surprising is that this whole journey has been, and I don't like to use the word easy, but Matt, as you know, our gorgeous esteemed leader, Matt, that we like to call him, you know, we like to let him think he's the boss, but, you know, he's on a journey with us, he often says it's ease and grace. This needs to be ease and grace. And never before in any of the titles that we've created has there been so much ease and grace, because there is such an energy behind this movement. There's such a higher purpose, something so much bigger.
And you're part of it now.
That's right. It's so much bigger than us, and so much bigger than the magazine or anyone in the magazine. It's about combining together to rise everyone up, to create a global stage so you can hear other people speak and they can lead you down the path to where you want to go. And I think, you know, it's been an exciting journey, and we've done a lot of teaching, and your journal should be jam-packed full of gold nuggets. But I just wanted to share, you know, for me personally, you know, I was thinking about the most exciting moments of where, you know, bringing us to this point, and there has been so many, the fist pumps and woos that I've been doing along the journey personally, and I know Amanda and our team have as well. But for me personally, the moment that was one of the, you know, wow, this is really, you know, this is validation that we are definitely on the right path, was we sat down in our mastermind to talk about the vision for the magazine and who we wanted to be involved in it and what contributors we really wanted to include. And the first name to come, or one of the first names on the list, was Lisa Vanderpump. Now, for many of you, you may not know, but, you know, you may not know her. She's, you know, known as a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, of course, and she's got Vanderpump Rules, a TV show. But more than that, she's a successful entrepreneur. She's built amazing businesses, you know, the restaurants that Amanda has spent many a time and a wine, a rosé all day.
Some of the best restaurants that I've ever been to.
Yeah, she just has, you can see her vision come out in every single part of that place, from every decision she makes. And then she's an amazing amazing philanthropist. She has big causes, much, much bigger than herself. So this is a pretty big name, you know. She's a little bit out there and a little bit up there. You know, she's a big name. And I'll never forget the email coming through. We'd reached out to her publicist to ask whether she'd be a part of this movement, to be able to share wisdom with you and to guide you as well as all of you along the journey as an entrepreneur. And I'm going to say this, you have to, it's not live, so you can't cut it out. So, oh well,
what are you doing?
let's just go. I'm like whispering.
She's got the, what's this?
But I knew that the email must be close, and we needed it to be close. We really wanted this first big tick in the box to say, yep. And I was pressing refresh on my computer, and I actually carried my computer into the bathroom. I was about to have a shower because I knew it was coming. I'd been having a little bit of email back and forth, and I was like, we'd sent the cover over that we'd mocked up of Lisa on the cover, and it was just waiting. And all of a sudden I hear bing, and there was the email. Yes, she would love to be. Oh my God. It was a little bit of a naked run around the house.
Imagine that, girlfriend.
Sorry if
Imagine
that's
that.
in your ears. Hope you haven't got headphones on. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Jamie.
Sorry, Jamie, over there with the headphones on. But for me, the excitement around that was, wow, there are so many women out there that want to support us and you on your journey. I literally still sit back looking at that cover. I can't stop looking at it. It's my screensaver on my computer.
Oh, beautiful.
I know, because it is. It's about validation for Amanda's movement and what she's trying to achieve.
Our movement. You included.
Absolutely. So that was my personal, exciting moment. When I was talking to Mel, our producer, about what her exciting moment was, she's like, are you kidding me? There has literally been 1,000 of them. But the one that I wanted to acknowledge today was what we're sitting on, which is these chairs.
Bling, 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 bling.
Bling. You've got to laugh at these moments. You know, sometimes it's the big stuff, right? It's the big woohoo moments of building a business, and then other times it's these little things.
It's about this set.
Yeah, that's
Give
right.
us a love heart or a thumbs up if you love. These are royal blue velvet chairs.
Sorry, thrones. I like to call them thrones. Yeah,
with
absolutely.
all bling, 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 bling.
Yeah, and honestly, the conversations.
You love bling.
Yeah, that's right. And you've got to reward yourself, and you've got to, decide for yourself that and that was, honestly, I got video footage. I've had footage, and again, wait till the end. You'll see some of the footage I'm talking about of these guys going out and choosing the chairs for the set and the truck pulling up to deliver the chairs, because
I love them.
What the chairs meant was bigger than just a chair with bling bling, which is also very important, but it was what we were going to be sitting on to share the gold with you. Now, Amanda, you must have had an exciting moment along the way, many, many exciting moments. Is there anything in particular that...
So many moments, which I'm so grateful for. I'm grateful for everyone who's been along the journey. I'm grateful for all of you watching this, the contributors. I am so grateful. I once had a mentor who said to me, Amanda, you can try and figure this out alone and keep living a life of hell on earth, or you can give in to what she called the calling or the vision that you were born to have and to fulfill, and you will live heaven on earth. They were her words. And until we started this movement, I didn't really understand the depth of what she was saying, because I've had a few successful business along the way, but nothing as heart fulfilling and soul fulfilling as the experience that we are having now, and especially with our contributors.
I can testament to
women.
Yeah, I can. You are so in your flow and in your genius zone and your place you're meant to be. I set up all the conversations for Amanda to have with these amazing contributors. So
thank you, contributors.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful
and
women.
Amanda will Voxer me or ring me straight after an interview to let me know how it went, and to let me know that it was what she was hoping for. And it is a squeal. It is always she's.
I haven't giggled so much in years. I said to my husband, he calls us all sorts of funny names, but we're always laughing, and
some of them we can't say right now.
But, light-hearted names. But I haven't laughed this much, and the connection that I am experiencing with world leaders, they are everyday women just like us.
Yep.
We are just normal women who want to impact, elevate each other, and band together on this global stage that we're creating. To really, the bottom line is about you, if you're watching this, to help elevate your self-worth, your net worth, and your life worth. And I mean, I get up each and every morning. I
Yeah.
can't wait to get out of bed.
Yeah,
so
me
many
neither.
beautiful moments.
Me neither. And I think Lisa Vanderpump in particular, people might say, oh, are you including her because she's a real housewife? But dig under that. You know, she actually works, and this is something Amanda talks about a lot, is she actually works for a cause bigger than herself. She mentions in the magazine something along the lines of, I was given a platform, and then I realized that I had to use that platform to help people. So that's in the pages of the magazine. And that's something you talk about all the time, isn't it, Amanda? Make the cause bigger than yourself.
When you take the limelight off yourself and think about your business, and you might be starting a business along the pathway of your business, you take the problem off yourself, focus on serving other people, and then you become bigger than your problems. Then you create a cause bigger than your problems, which will begin with your business, and over time it'll be your legacy. Think about what you want to be remembered for, what you want to be known for. You know, it's really heartwarming, and that's what this whole movement is about, is helping women like yourself become a millionairess from the inside out, growing your self-worth, and growing a gorgeous business that you get gorgeously paid for, serving other people, the heart-filled business that you will love, and then, you know, having that money and building that financial wall around yourself. And that will only come, Robin, if you have a cause bigger than yourself. In other words, get over your own problems and focus on solving other people's problems. And that's what these women are so about.
That's right. And even our other contributors, for example, Missy on Madison. So Missy on Madison is, you know, an influencer, and she talks a lot about it being, you know, yes, she's an influencer, but it's all about the business. And she's a young entrepreneur. She's on that journey, and she is creating a cause bigger than herself within her influence and the way she posts. And she had so much wisdom to share in the pages of the magazine. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we've got the lovely Emmy in Style, Emmy Pong, and she,
lovely lady.
Yeah, I think Amanda described her as one of the most humble people that she's had the opportunity to chat to. Isn't that right?
We had a great conversation, and the thing I love about Emmy is she has over 100,000 followers on her Insta. She is so grounded, so down to earth, and just said, you know, nothing comes easy, Amanda. You know, we put in, we work hard, we can get the life we want. And, you know, I think we've been talking with each other over Insta and messaging each other, and you know,
she's just so excited to be a part of it. She's humbled to be, as Amanda said about the word, but she really is humbled to be a part of it. She's in awe that she's been included. But it's important to understand that we talk about the Millionairesses from the inside out. Emmy's driving forward something that's it's her passion, it's what she wants to be able to do. It's her side hustle. So she actually, you know, is working full time and then has a side hustle and is trying to grow this business because she knows deep down that this is what she's meant to be doing. So it's not all about the dollars in the bank. It's about them understanding that it's, you know, them looking at it as a side hustle because she knows it's her high purpose. So whether you are a young entrepreneur starting out and you're only just starting out on your journey, or you're already in business, or you know, a lot of the people we talk to are in that age where the kids are starting to not be so demanding, and they actually go, well, wow, what is it that I want to do for myself?
It doesn't matter your age, your background, or your education. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, young now. 60's the new 40, baby.
Yeah.
You know, if you get the right help, you get the right mentors, you surround yourself with winners that are going somewhere, going towards the light, you can shave, and I know this to be true, you can literally shave 10 to 15 years off your own entrepreneurial journey and build that financial wall around you and your family. Have the freedom and the choice that you want. Go to bed at night being able to sleep without feeling sick and worried about money.
Yeah.
It is possible. And again, I'll say it again, we believe in you.
Yeah.
You just got to take that first step, turn that life compass by just 1 degree, and know that in time, with progressive action steps, you will get to the lighthouse. I absolutely promise it.
Yeah, and what we'd love the pages of the magazine to be is that 1 degree, you know, give you some, you know, little, I was going to call them, actually, I've decided breadcrumbs are a bit too, we got to have diamonds.
Little diamonds, follow the diamonds.
Follow the diamontes, exactly. We've talked about those. So follow the diamonds. Within the pages, there are going to be little diamonds that allow you to follow and move forward. And, you know, we've got an exciting, issue 1 was amazing, but honestly, we had it was another one of those moments where I wasn't. Luckily, I was clothed and sitting at my desk this time. But the girls were out when I rang them to tell them the news. They were out buying our lovely blinged out chairs.
Bling, bling, bling.
It was another one of those. Amanda was, on this. This is someone that Amanda really wanted to talk to. She's someone that's so aligned with Amanda, and they've both got such similar values. They're both on a very similar trajectory, and they both believe so much in educating women about their financial independence. Now, I'm not sure if you can guess, but this woman is a female powerhouse when it comes to personal finances. Do we tell them who is our cover story for issue 2 of Millionairess Magazine?
Can I show them?
Oh, go on then.
Give me a thumbs up or a love heart or a clap if you want me to show you who it is. Well, I'm going to show you anyway. This is for your benefit. The conversation that I had with this most incredible entrepreneurial woman, the beautiful Kim Kiyosaki, is an absolute powerhouse in business. She talks about financial independence, and Kim and I had a lovely 80 minutes or so together. An incredible conversation about it's time for women to rise. It's time for women to take the front of their life ship. Not behind another person, maybe beside, but really time to step up and take control of their destiny. And look at her face says it all, doesn't it? Her beautiful smile.
And honestly, I've been lucky enough to be privy to the interview, because I'm pulling apart and taking out the gold to share with you. And actually in issue 2, that full interview is going to be available to you. So within the magazine, within our digital pages, there's actually going to be the full interview, because our journalists really couldn't do it justice with just putting the words. So we're including the full interview, the full conversation that Amanda and Kim had together, and there's just so much wisdom. So that is an absolute moment where you need to have, don't watch these videos while you're, cooking dinner. Sit down and allow yourself the time with a journal and actually listen to the words from, 2 incredible women that we're bringing together, these powerhouses, to share with you the most amazing, amazing women. So we have been on for over an hour. We have
You can put your cards down now, Dale, because she's getting so worked up they're going to fly across the room.
I'll throw them. A little bit passionate.
I'm a bit nervous with these cards.
I'll get myself together. But we have shared so much. Have a little drink there. Have
I'm over the tea. I would like something a bit stronger.
I know. But we have shared what I hope is so much wisdom already with you today. We've talked about the power of having a mentor, the power of a mastermind. We've shared wisdom from not only Amanda, but the women that we're including in the pages of our magazine. And, I think as entrepreneurs, one thing we really forget to do is we actually forget to stop and celebrate the moments. Now, whether that's that you've made 99 cents on a Wilbur Smith, would you say?
On a Wilbur Smith book.
Wilbur Smith book that took poor Maddo 6 hours, to get together on eBay. Whether it's that or whether it's just something small, like you've just decided, you've made a decision.
We've made a decision to turn your life compass by just 1 degree and head towards the lighthouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you and your family deserve it.
Absolutely. So you've got to stop. You've got to stop and celebrate the moments. And I am a freight train when it comes to my business, and I am shocking at doing this. So we're lucky that we've got Mel, our producer, who is not going to let us stop and remember these moments. So
out with the tea, I say. Out with the tea.
She said to us, we've got to pump the tea. Thank you to the gorgeous
over to my
sissy.
beautiful sissy.
I got to pump my tea, girlfriends. Get it out of here, because
we want to celebrate this moment with you.
Yeah, this is exactly right. This is not about celebrating us and this sitting in our lovely blue chairs. This is about celebrating the start of an amazing journey that we're going to take you on. The Millionairess Magazine. So remember, subscribing to Millionairess Magazine is super easy and it's free. Millionairessmagazine.com. But stop, please. We want you to stop. Now we're gonna. There it is. Whoopah! Well done, girls.
That's my favourite sound. One of my besties over there, Amanda.
Now it's really funny because this bottle of bubbles. Absolutely. But
give me a thumbs up. Up here, Yogi.
There's Yogi. We haven't even seen Yogi. He's been asleep, but the pop of the bubbles.
This is the poodle's come to join us. This is
with his bling bling.
Yogi, this is Yogi Bear. He's got the bling bling on. He's got a beautiful
collar.
He's
all primed and ready. But this bubbles, here we go, Amanda. We'll talk a little bit about, there we go.
Thank you, my beautiful sissy.
And not only does she hand me a bubbles, but she fixes my mic too. But this bubbles is actually a bottle of Dom. I'm not that much of a fancy pants, but Dom Perignon.
Never had it before.
2002, nor have I. And it was actually something that I've carried around for about, it tells you how little I celebrate, about 5 years. And I just, when Mel said, you need to celebrate these moments, you need to stop and take a breath as an entrepreneur and celebrate the moments. I said to Amanda, right, that's it. The dom's coming out. And she's like, who's the dom? So, Amanda, we do need to celebrate, don't we? And who do we want to celebrate?
Well, first of all, I want to celebrate everyone who is part of this movement. Yeah. First of all, you, my beautiful friend.
I wasn't saying that, but okay then.
I
didn't mean me, but okay then.
Our beautiful husband, Matt. Our beautiful husband.
We're all sharing him.
Our A-team, all of our A-team, our best friends who are in the studio with us today, our live audience. My beautiful sister, Carmel, who's been with me for 5 years on this journey. Yeah. Mel, our manager. Yeah. The beautiful friends in the room and our incredible contributors, because without our contributors, Robbie, this wouldn't be possible. Yeah. But I know it's all coming together because we're on purpose. And I want to cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to you being on purpose.
And also for you. I personally,
I'm going to try this.
You know, good on you. I should too. Hold on. Let's hope it tastes okay after 5 years.
Oh, sham wow.
It's actually a 2002. Oh, that's
nice. Beautiful. That's a sham wow moment.
Oh, sham wow. You're so
Give
posh.
me a thumbs up if you like a bubbles yourself or a little partake. If not, have yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee.
Whatever your drink of choice. But I personally am hoping that out there you understand how much we value you being on this live with us today, this live TV show, our very first. It has been something that we've worked on so hard. The whole entire team has worked so hard. Hours upon hours upon hours of work has been put in. Make sure you stay around at the end, please, because they have put together a video of all the hours that they've put in to build all of this so that you can hopefully take away gold from these conversations and learn on your journey. We're really so proud. Now remember, I'm not going to let you go without reminding you one more time that Millionaires Magazine for 12 months, it is free. You'll be the first to get the issue if you subscribe now, www.millionairesmagazine.com. Also, make sure you like the page, you know, where you're watching this live. If you haven't, some people have just, you said they're coming to the event, but they haven't liked the page, because every single month we're going to be doing this.
And share with your friends. Lastly, before we leave, because I'm going to go and finish this bottle of Dom in a moment. Seriously.
Get the girl a straw, the bottle and a straw.
Share this with your friends. This is not about us. You know, I know we have a bit of fun up here, but this is truly about you. We are here to open your heart. We are here to open your mind and to turn what you may feel impossible to absolute possible. Please join us next month. We'll be back and we'll always deliver value. We'll always deliver raw and real and relatable, because we understand you, we see you, and we want to guide you. We're going to take you by the hand and lead you to the lighthouse where your dreams and that life by design await you. And we'll see you next month, gorgeous. Thank you for
everybody.
Joining us.
Cheers.
Cheers, beautiful girlfriend.
Woo!
Balls drop.
Yeah, because the show's called Millionairess. Yes, I noticed.
That's what we are, right?